After being sucked into Diablo 4's world for the past 4 weeks, I decided it was time for a little break and I switched to some other games. I wanted to play something a bit different, so I don't completely burn out of ARPGs before D4's Season 1 launch. So I picked up Halls of Torment. You might be someone who puts a lot of weight into graphics when deciding whether to play a game or not, and you might not be the biggest fan of retro graphics, which I have to admit I slightly fall into that camp. But I am glad I ignored this when giving the game a chance. Halls of Torment is one of those Vampire Survivors-like games. It is a roguelite meets bullet hell game, a genre that seems to be getting more and more traction recently. The concept is simple. Enter a map, kill hordes of monsters, level up, and survive as long as possible, or until you kill a boss at the end. However, Halls of Torment takes this simple concept and packs so many game systems into it. Classes, quests, skills, gear extraction, itemization, loadouts, crafting, map events, and lore. At the moment, the game has 7 different classes that allow you to enter the 3 maps, where you complete quests or save NPCs, extract gear for future runs, and kill monsters until you eventually fall down or beat the final boss of the map. Swordsman, Ranger, Cleric, Exterminator, basically a guy with a flamethrower, Shield Maiden, Sorceress, and Warlock, which are the classes available, offer decent variation in playstyles, although all my attempts boil down to the same strat: mow down everything around you with Dragon Breath and Ring Blades. Another system that caught me off guard in the game is itemization. Players can find items when mapping, which give additional attributes: strength, movement speed, armor, etc., or even perks like every second you're not moving, regen 1 HP. As if this whole Vampire Survivors-like game genre wasn't confusing enough, Halls of Torment somehow managed to involve yet another one: extraction games. Although not realized fully, the system allows you to obtain items through a well, which then makes the item available back at camp to use for future runs, if you're willing to pay for it. If there's one questionable thing about the game I'd have to point out, it would have to be quote-unquote lore. Lore is not really on top of my wishlist for these types of games, and I'm not really sure if it makes sense for this genre, but Halls of Torment tips its toes into it, and use it as a way to introduce characters into the game. You see, every time you meet or save some character out in the world, they tell you a little story and end up in your little camp later on as NPCs for different game systems. In a world where $70 games are coming out incomplete or buggy, a 6-employee company producing a bug-free complete ARPG, roguelite, bullet hell experience with slot machine sound effects that hit your brain every second, progression reminiscent that of a MOBA game where it starts slow and ramps up quickly and seamlessly, all packed into familiar RPG stats and systems for $5 is quite impressive.